Welcome everyone to the Proven Knowledge Podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Church. I'm a music producer from Northeast Ohio. I began this weekly interview series to give you different perspectives from artists, producers, engineers, and other individuals in the music industry. In each episode, we touch on not only what has helped the person succeed, but we also touch on what has shaped them into the person that they are today. I hope you're able to gain some real proven knowledge from the show, and that it helps elevate you on your own journey to success as well. Let's get into it. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to episode 285 here on the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Today I had a personal favorite, one of my personal favorite producers, and someone that I listen to on almost a daily basis, Elaquent. Amazing instrumentalist, artist. He does all kinds of stuff, live performances, collabs, has put out a lot of amazing instrumental projects over the years. So I was honored to have Elaquent be a part of the show. I've been trying to get him on for a while, and the timing was finally right. And today we did pretty much a full recap of his year in 2025. We started out talking about his collab EP called Mirage with Chester Watson, who I'm a big fan of as well. He talked about how he had initially met Chester, the two EPs that they've done in 2024 and this year, and then what it was like going on tour with him. And if you watch Chester Watson's documentary about his most recent tour, which I think is like a 2-hour documentary, you're going to see a lot of Elaquent in that documentary. And he most recently produced a song on the Wilt EP that Chester just put out about a week and a half ago. Then we talked about his June release called If Not Now, When. Talked about, what was the inspiration behind that as an instrumental album, and really what goes into the process of putting together all of his albums over the years. He's been putting out albums for, almost 20 years at this point. And then he most recently dropped an EP called Excursion that was more house-based, so he talked about kind of switching up the style and what it's going to look like moving forward for him in 2026, doing more music in different genres, just experimenting, working with more artists as well, and just doing a lot more of the projects he's been looking to do here for the last few months, the last few years. So I'm excited as a fan of his work to see what that evolution is going to look like. And just always on the lookout for his new material in general. So I thank Elaquent once again for taking the time to stop by this week, and I'm looking forward to hopefully doing a part 2 with him very soon as well. So without further ado, let's get into this one. Like I said, I'm glad to have you here. This is episode 285, so I'm happy to have you on today. And we usually just kind of, have the guests kind of introduce themselves. I feel like a lot of people that will hear this will probably be familiar with your stuff to some extent, but just in case they aren't, kind of just give a little brief introduction for those that might not know.
My name's Sona, but folks may or may not know me as Elaquent. I am a beat maker, producer, however way that folks kind of want to define it. I make rap beats, hip hop, instrumentals. I've been doing it since, I guess professionally, I'm using air quotes, since around 05, 06. So it's been a pretty long run. I've got a ton of different instrumental albums, self-releases. I did some work with Urbnet. I've done some work with How, What, and Where, Mellow Music Group, Fat Beats, and I've been fortunate to have, been around the world, like touring and so forth. It doesn't feel like it sometimes, but, I've done a lot of cool stuff in my life.
Yeah. And I gotta say, definitely someone that's in my daily rotation every day for the most part, man, in the playlist. And I've definitely been checking out the projects you put out recently. We're going to touch on a couple of those. I know that I feel like I was going to go back on Bandcamp and count the project total. Do you know the project total? I don't know it, honestly, off the top of my head. It's got to be over 20.
I don't either. Now,
yeah.
I think the last time I did an official count, I want to say at the time it was like 28,
Yeah.
29, 30, something like that. But I mean, I've got a few releases that aren't on Bandcamp for one reason or the other. And then, you know, there's like Lucy singles and stuff I've done for compilations and so forth. But, you know, I've been pretty, I've stayed pretty active over the years, for sure.
And as much as I would love to recap everything, I definitely want to kind of touch on...
Please don't.
I know. I was going to say that would turn into like the 10-hour Elaquent podcast. We'll have to do that maybe one day. We'll see. But I definitely want to touch on the 2025 stuff for sure. And I guess we'll start from the top because Mirage with Chester Watson dropped in February, I believe.
Yep.
And that was your guys' second EP that you did officially. Yeah. So I guess, like, how did that relationship kind of come to be? Because you guys are, I think there's kind of a little bit of an age gap there. He's my age, I think. He's like 28. And you guys have a little bit of different styles separately, but I feel like the way you guys combined the sounds was a nice marriage in both projects. So I guess, like, how did that come to be? And you toured with him as well earlier this year, so how was that?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, shout out to Chester, man. He's a great guy, incredible artist. Yeah, just definitely one of the coolest people I've met in this space. I got first hip to him, I want to say around 2018-ish or so. I mean, he guest appeared on an album from a friend of mine, Fred Fades, from Norway. Shout out to him. And, you know, and I kind of just fell in love with the style. He was doing that dope. Like, he's got that sort of monotone style, but there's so much style and substance to it. And yeah, I just thought he didn't sound like anybody that I was really tapped into. And basically, I did a record with Mellow Music Group in 2020 called Forever Is a Pretty Long Time. And that album, the whole premise of it was, beyond making the beats, I just wanted to curate an album and, you know, have a record full of features and so forth. And, you know, the challenge with it is figuring out, okay, who can I reach out to, who, you know, who's really dope. And but for me, it's not just looking for, well, who's the biggest name, you know, who's got the most clout. I mean, I was really challenging myself to find interesting people that I liked, but I also wanted to sort of bring along some people as well. And so I kind of just hit up Chester one day, just out of the blue, like, hey, I mean, I don't know if you know me, but I'm a fan. I got this record that I'm doing. I'd love to feature you on a song if you're interested. You know, I sent him a beat, and I want to say 2, maybe 3 hours later, he hit me back with like the complete song, which ended up being the Airwalk joint off of that record. And I just felt like, you know, like he has a particular style that just creates a really dope contrast with the type of stuff that I do. And then I reached out to him again when I did like the Rediscovery record a couple of years back. But as far as our collaborative works, I mean, I'd sent him some beats for. I think he was working on his Japanese horror story album at the time. I'd sent him a beat or two for that, which unfortunately didn't make the cut. But, you know, he kind of just hit me up one day out of the blue, like, yo, bro, do you want to kind of just do an EP? And I was like, yeah, bet. So, like, I'd love to tell you that it's this really crazy in-depth story on how it all came to be, but honestly, it was just hey, dude, like, do you want to work?
Yeah.
And yeah, and I mean, we did the Monty Sona record in a weekend, and kind of just just put it up. No real plan as far as like how, like, are we going to shop it around? Are we going to do X, Y, and Z? Just no, just we made some fun music. Let's just put it out, and then we kind of just did it again a few months later. But what was dope was, I mean, I think he was already in the midst of planning out his tour of Europe, and and he reached out to me with the idea, like, yo, like, well, how about you just come with me on the tour, and we'll kind of brand it together, and then we'll even take these 2 EPs that we did, press them on a vinyl, and do a special tour only run of these, and yeah, man, I mean, Europe was a blast, and I mean, he's definitely a fun dude to kind of just be around in that space. So he's family for life now. Yeah. I mean, he may not know it, but he's stuck with me now. Yeah. So I mean, and he actually just dropped a new EP exclusively on Bandcamp called Wilt. Yeah. Which I produced a joint on. But yeah, man, he's always working. He's active. I mean, he inspires me to not be lazy. So yeah, shout out to him.
Yeah, and it'll definitely be exciting to see what you guys are working on moving forward too, because I can imagine there's definitely more projects in the pipeline eventually, which is exciting. It's funny you mentioned the track that just came out last week. I think in the documentary he put out, he's recording it in the documentary, like he's doing the verse for it, or I think it's like the start of the verse for it, because I heard the song and I was like, this is the one from the documentary, and you're in the documentary too, that he put out, because it was basically all while he was on tour. They were putting that together, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I was on camera duty for some stretches of it. Yeah. And it's dope. I mean, I'm not really. I'm very much a behind the scenes guy. I mean, despite what I try to do, yeah. I'm not as public facing as I probably should. But it was a blessing to be a part of that, and I definitely got some great memories when I put on the documentary, and remember very specific times and places and moments, and yeah, and I just remember just being in my hotel room in Amsterdam, and I mean, he's like a floor below me, and he kind of just hits me like, yo, like check out this joint I did to that one beat that you sent me. But he's got a great mind for the shit. I mean, the way that he formulates ideas and can put songs together with the quickness. He's a talented guy.
Yeah. Hey there, hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick minute out to let you know about a couple different ways that you can support the podcast. One of the ways is by clicking that support the podcast button within your streaming platform. That is if you want to be a monthly supporter of the show. You can contribute either 99 cents, $5, or $10 a month. So that's the first way, and that's the more traditional way that we've had now for the last couple years. The other method that we actually just recently introduced is from our good friends over at Ko-fi. Ko-fi is a virtual tip jar. We have set our limit to a minimum of $10, but you can go make one-time, one-off donations. So if you visit ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast, you'll be able to donate. And all these different forms of donation go towards getting new guests every single week, getting potential sponsors on board to do giveaways, and overall just making the show better for you guys. So if you want to do that Ko-fi link, it's ko-fi.com/the Proven Knowledge Podcast. Otherwise, again, look for that support the podcast button in your streaming platform if you'd like to be a monthly supporter. And I just want to say thank you guys for your contributions. And without further ado, let's get back into the episode. For sure. And shout out to him, like you said as well, doing his thing. And I definitely, from there you fast forward to June, you put out If Not Now, When, instrumental project, which, again, amazing body of work. Hero of Your Own Story is my personal favorite. I really like that one a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was my favorite on the record, too.
Yeah, that one gets a lot of replay in my playlist for sure. I guess, what would be the story behind this one? Because I feel like all your projects have, obviously, some type of distinct story. Why did you choose to do only instrumentals for this one? Because I know like certain albums of yours have some features on them, but some of them are all instrumentals. So this one being all instrumentals, what was kind of the reasoning behind that this time?
Honestly, I mean, I kind of just cut my teeth, like just putting out instrumental albums. I mean, that's probably the thing that I'm best known for, just throughout the years. Like most producers, I was chasing placements and so forth, and excuse me, sorry about that. And I kind of got tired of, rappers like asking me to make stuff that sounded like other people's beats. So that's sort of what led me to kind of like really focusing in on instrumental stuff. And I just done that throughout my entire career, but eventually, you kind of get bored doing the same thing over and over. So, I did the Forever is a Pretty Long Time record. And I think, and I kind of have some instrumental like EPs that I just put out on Bandcamp. But as far as major records or like full length, I did that one. I did the Rediscovery record, and then I did the 2 EPs with Chester. So it was kind of like on some back to back like records I'd done with vocalists, and and I kind of just wanted to get back to what people sort of discovered me for. So I did a mostly instrumental record with that, and we dropped that on Honey Dips. Shout out to the homegirl Desh, who helped me put that out. And it just it really just felt right. Every record that I do, I never really go in with a set direction of the type of record that I want to do. I kind of just do what just feels right, or rather just what makes sense to me at that time. And I just moved into to a new apartment, and I think like literally the first thing that I set up when I moved in was just like a table to set up my equipment. And before I even had my bed configured, I just started making beats and sketches and so forth. And that album is mostly just things that I created after moving into a new space, having more space, and just being inspired.
Yeah, sounds like it was almost like getting back to the roots for you a little bit too.
Very much so. Very much so. And like I like every record that I do, like you said, I have a particular story or vision for it, and things that are significant to me that probably doesn't translate to anybody else listening. So to most people listening, like these are just some cool rap beats to vibe out to and like do things around the house. Many of them hold a little deeper meaning for me, but but ultimately it just felt right.
Yeah.
And I wanted to just sort of remind people of sort of where I came from.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I know the most recent project just came out about a week ago, Excursion, which is more of a different style. I think you went kind of a different direction with it on this one. So like, tell us about that. What was the story behind it? I think it's 4 tracks, right? 4 tracks.
Yeah, just a 4-track
Yeah.
EP. So So I mean, on a lot of my records, especially instrumental ones, I mean, there's quite a few of them where I might have one song where I'm kind of just experimenting with something a little more up tempo, a little more dancey. Um, I've dabbled in like little house experiments, dance music stuff, and a few of the homies, like for years, have been telling me that I should just try to lean more into it, and I never really wanted to do it. And my friend Stilo kind of bullied me into doing it, um, like into doing it officially. I mean, originally the idea was I was just going to do like one song and just put it out as a Lucy, and just see what people think, and then kind of just get back onto everything else that I was doing. And I personally have difficulties kind of just doing like a random song. Like I think of everything that I do in the scope of a project, so be it a full-length LP or just an EP. So I did the one song, the Starlight song. I liked it. I liked how it came out a lot, but it just didn't feel right to just put out on its own. And then I did another one, and that was just supposed to be a 2-track, and then it turned into 3, and then it turned into 4, and I kind of just stopped myself before. Okay, if I like, there's a Tyler the Creator interview that went viral a couple months ago, where he's talking about, sometimes as creatives we kind of overthink the process of putting something out, and we're always thinking about like the elaborate rollout, and this has to be perfect, and this has to be perfect, and if it's not perfect, then it's not going to come out. And and that kind of just motivated me. All right, I've got these 4 songs. I like it a lot. If I sit back and try to turn this into a full length, you know, it'll take a lot more time. I'll overthink it. And I kind of just wanted to just get it out there, and then kind of just move on to the next. Yeah. So 4 songs just felt right.
Yeah.
And the feedback, and again, like, house music is not really my lane. Like, I enjoy it when I hear it, but I can't pretend like I'm this big house music guy. But I kind of just did my research and was trying to do something that felt like early '90s inspired. And but the feedback's been has been really good.
Yeah, I can imagine whenever you do your next run of live shows, those might be getting played for sure.
That's the hope, because it's definitely a difference in live at shows when something over 120 ppm goes on versus some of these chill out vibes that I do so frequently. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun to sort of switch up the energy whenever I get to play these out live.
For sure. And congrats on all 3 projects. Again, all 3 very solid work, and I'm definitely intrigued to know for you. What do you think is going to be the next steps in your evolution moving into 2026, and what is kind of the plan for Elaquent in 2026, if you have one at this time, I guess?
That's a really good question, honestly. Like, I definitely want to get back and do some more collaborative works, and kind of just show people I've got more dimensions than just putting out beat tapes. That being said, I mean, I have a lot of ideas of things that I want to do. None of which I've started with yet, but I've got all of these ideas for kind of themed EPs and B tapes that I want to do. I might like I did this project of this excursion project of just trying to do like house music. I want to do another excursion EP, but maybe switch it up and just try to do like drum and bass or jungle. I kind of want to turn that into a series of where I do something completely outside of hip hop. I definitely want to work with some more artists, and that might be the one thing I lean mostly into for next year. But honestly, man, I'm just trying to go with the flow and kind of just whatever makes sense, whatever feels right, whatever's fun to do is kind of just what I want to do. I mean, I've got a few albums that are kind of sitting in limbo for one reason or the other. So hopefully those see the light of the day in 2026. But just trying to keep busy.
Yeah. I think letting that natural progression kind of take its course is always the way to go, for sure. So
yeah, because I mean, after a while, and I've been doing it for over 20 years, and it's funny because like I used to get upset as a fan whenever some of my favorite artists would do an interview and talk about how they want to evolve and do different things, and I'd roll my eyes at it. It's like, oh, okay, now they're going to stop doing the one thing that I really enjoy from them. I hate it, blah, 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 blah. But, you get older and you understand it.
Yeah.
It's fun to do something that you're really good at, but everyone needs some new challenges every so often.
For sure. Well, I'm definitely excited, looking forward to what you got coming up in the new year. Definitely going to be checking out everything you got dropping. We're pretty much toward the end here. I could ask you a lot more, but we'll have to do that another time. But I guess before
then another time.
yeah, for sure. But before we get out of here, is there any final words of wisdom that you have for the listeners? Anything that you just want people to know, or anything that you would tell people? I guess moving into the new year, because by the time this drops, we'll be about a few weeks from 2026. So anything you want to let people know?
I guess the only thing I want to say is really just thank you to anybody who's been on this journey with me, whether you were around in the still music and how and where days back in like 2010, or if you just got hip to me this year, or maybe some of you are finding out about me just through listening to this right now. Whenever, wherever your entry point is, thank you. I appreciate that. And, there's a lot more to come. I'm not going to, I guess, jinx myself and talk about specific things that are in the works, because, none of them are solidified just yet. But I'm expecting 2026 to be a busy year for me. Just more to come.
Awesome. Well, Elaquent, I got to say once again, man, thank you so much for taking the time out tonight, for joining me. And like I said, you're always in my daily rotation, so I'm always on the lookout for what you got coming. And congrats on all the stuff you did in 2025. And I'm excited to see what you do and move forward. And the door is always open. We'll do another one of these for sure if you're down. So.
Oh, hell yeah. And and thank you for having me. And I see the love, and I see the posts and some of the stories on the gram and so forth, and it never goes unnoticed. So thank you, and again thank you to everybody who's been holding me down.
Thanks everyone for listening today. That was episode 285. We'll be back this time next week. As always, hit that support button on your podcast streaming platform if you'd like to send us any funds. And feel free to leave us that 5-star rating if you enjoyed today's episode. So we'll see you then. Thanks everyone.